The Boston Celtics won 9 championships in the 1960s, displaying a level of dominance we've never quite seen replicated in the NBA. There was only one other team besides Boston that managed to step up and win a championship in the 60s, the 1966-67 Philadelphia 76ers. The previous year, the Sixers had finished 55-25. Wilt Chamberlain won his second MVP, but the Sixers were eliminated by the Celtics in the East Finals. In the 1966 offseason, the Sixers hired Alex Hannum as their new head coach to replace Dolph Schayes. Hannum is one of the most underrated coaches in the history of basketball. He had won a championship with the St. Louis Hawks in 1958, led the San Francisco Warriors to an appearance in the 1964 finals, and would later go on to win a championship with the Oakland Oaks in the ABA. Hannum is almost universally seen as the best coach Wilt Chamberlain ever had, as he was the first one to figure out how to utilize Wilt in a way that was conducive to winning basketball. When both Chamberlain and Hannum were on the Warriors in 1964, Hannum tweaked with Chamberlain's game a bit. In 1963, Chamberlain was averaging 45 points, but the next year, he averaged 37 points and 5 assists. By 1967, Hannum wanted to rein Wilt in even more. He wanted him to score even less and distribute more. Chamberlain was famously one of the biggest personalities in the NBA. I mean, after all, this was the guy who averaged 50 points per game, and Hannum knew that to rein Wilt in, he would have to give him something that most coaches did not give Chamberlain: his respect. Having been a former NBA player himself, Hannum knew how to talk to his players and strike a chord with them. After games, Hannum would join Chamberlain for drinks, making them closer on a personal level, and making Wilt more willing to buy into Hannum's coaching style. At this point in his career, Wilt Chamberlain had just turned 30 years old. He was coming off of 7 straight scoring titles, but the growing narrative was that he could not win a championship due to his style of play. But under Hannum's new style, Chamberlain averaged 24.1 points, 24.2 rebounds, and 7.8 assists for the 1967 season. He led the Sixers in scoring, rebounding, and assists. His 7.8 average was, at the time, the highest assist average for a center, until he went on to break his own record the very next season. He also shot a ridiculous 68.3% from the field, which is even more impressive considering he took 14.2 shots per game. As I'm making this video, Wilt's 1967 season is ranked as the 9th highest field goal percentage season in NBA history, and none of the seasons above him were even close to taking 10 shots per game. For his efforts, Wilt was rewarded with the 1967 MVP, and many fans refer to this season as Chamberlain's absolute peak as a player. The reason he was able to thrive so much more than he was in 1964 was because this Sixers team had much more offensive weapons than the Warriors, like the Hall of Fame shooting guard Hal Greer. At 6'2", Greer was one of the best pure shooters in the league. Although there was no three-point line at this time, and everything was worth 2 points, Alex Hannum still claimed that Greer was one of the 3 best mid-range shooters in the history of basketball. His small size also made him very good at getting to the rim. For the season, Greer averaged 22.1 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.8 assists. At small forward was the Hall of Fame legend Chet the Jet Walker. Walker had one of the strongest jump shots in the league. He was very good at pump fakes and hitting turnaround shots, and he could also shoot off the dribble. Walker was especially valuable as a one-on-one scorer. Walker was a guy who could create his own shot. Chamberlain actually called Walker the greatest one-on-one player he had ever seen. This season, Walker put up 19.3 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. At power forward was the 6'9" Luke Jackson. Jackson quite literally put the power in power forward, as he was one of the toughest brick walls in the NBA at this time. He had the strength and size to play at center, but alongside Chamberlain, he was slid to the power forward position. He was an excellent rebounding and shot blocking partner alongside Chamberlain, but he was also very good at stepping out and hitting 15 to 18 foot jumpers. For the season, he averaged 12 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. A while ago, I made a video where I counted down the 11 greatest front courts of all time. Well, retroactively, I'm very disappointed that I left out the front court of Chamberlain, Jackson, and Walker. At point guard, the Sixers had one of the more underrated guards of the 60s, the 6'2" Wally Jones. He was very quick and had some good handles. He could get to the rim and pull off the hook shot, but his bread and butter was to dribble and pull up for the jump shot. If I had to choose what the 1967 Sixers' strength was, I would say it was their jump shooting. The guards and forwards were all capable of rising up and scoring right in the face of their defenders. Alex Hannum had played basketball at USC under head coach Sam Barry, the man who invented the triangle offense. Hannum adopted the offense for his own team, and the results were nothing short of spectacular. Before Michael Jordan and the Bulls were using it, Wilt and the Sixers ran the triangle offense. The ball would be dumped to Chamberlain in the low post. At that point, he would either pass to a cutter at the rim or pass it back out to the perimeter. Coming off the bench was the team's 6'6" sixth man. Say that 5 times fast. The Hall of Fame small forward, Billy Cunningham. In the same way the Celtics had John Havlicek come off the bench, the plan was to have Cunningham come into the game and give the Sixers some instant offense and great energy. The Kangaroo Kid had quite a jump, and his left-handed jumper was so good, he could often fake and make a quick break to the basket. He put up averages of 18.5 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Filling out the rest of the roster was point guards Larry Costello, Bob Weiss, rookie Bill Melchioni, rookie shooting guard Matt Gukas, and Dave Gamby at small forward. The Sixers finished the 1967 season with a 68-13 record. At the time, it was the greatest regular season in NBA history. In their first 50 games, they went an astonishing 46-4. They led the league with 125.2 points per game, they led the league with 26.2 assists per game, they led the league in field goal percentage, and they were second in rebounds with 70.4 per game. The Sixers went on to beat the Cincinnati Royals 3-1 in the East semifinals, although Larry Costello did go down in Game 2 with a leg injury, leaving him unable to play for the rest of the postseason. In the East Finals, the Sixers came face-to-face with their rival, the Boston Celtics. After winning the 1966 championship, the legendary Red Auerbach stepped down as head coach of the Celtics, and Bill Russell was promoted to player coach. Philadelphia got off to a bolstering start, winning the first 3 games with Wilt dominating the boards, and Hal Greer, Chet Walker, and Wally Jones putting in basket after basket. Boston managed to win Game 4, but Philadelphia posted a dominant 140-116 Game 5 win. For the series, Wilt posted a ridiculous triple-double stat line of 21.6 points, 32 rebounds, and 10 assists. He had done it. He had finally beaten Bill Russell and prevented the Celtics from winning their 9th championship in a row. Now in the finals, the Sixers came face-to-face with Chamberlain and Hannum's former team, the San Francisco Warriors, led by a young Rick Barry, who had averaged a ridiculous 35.6 points in the regular season. Rick Barry certainly had an amazing series, averaging 40.8 points, 8.8 rebounds, and 3.3 assists. In Game 3, he scored 55 points, which, along with Michael Jordan's Game 4 performance in the 1993 finals, is tied for the second highest individual scoring finals game. Hannum's main defensive strategy was to play a drop coverage and make the Warriors take lots of outside shots. With Chamberlain leading the team in rebounding and assists, and Greer leading the team in scoring, the Sixers won the series in 6 games. After the series was over, Hannum actually said, "Nobody's ever going to win a series on outside shooting." Quite ironic, considering how the NBA is nowadays. So what do you think? Are the 1967 76ers the greatest team of the 60s? Where do they rank among the greatest teams of all time? Let me know in the comments, and take care.